Welcome to this latest edition of the Ril Dil Podcast. I'm your host, Ril Dil Quinn, on this Thursday, the 2nd of June, 2022. As always, I'm joined by one, Robert Sapp. Mr. Sapp, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Sun is back out, ducked a thunderstorm. So,
Yeah.
it's all good down here in the DMV. We, of course, are going to discuss, this is going to be a heavy NBA podcast. We are here. We finally made it to the final two.
We did.
Golden State, Boston. And we all know, like, the NBA playoffs are a marathon. Like, even the Milwaukee series with Boston seems like it was like 2 months ago. Like, I'm like, yo, the playoffs last.
Since then.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot just in the world. A lot has happened.
I'm just talking about basketball.
Yeah, basketball. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, you're right. Right. Yeah, a lot has happened since then. It's it's interesting because we started this thing really back in September with the football, and we are in essence like what we've done with the football and basketball have been in essence a school year. To be honest with you, like I was thinking about that. Damn, like we're in June. We're in June. We started in September, and now it's June. And we have a matchup that I am just like I've really been like deep diving this matchup and the narratives, and of course Steph Curry. We'll talk about that. But I am as excited about this matchup as I've been since the last time the Celtics were in the finals, and that was 2010 when you had, of course, the rematch with the Lakers and Celtics back in 2010, Kobe's last championship. And I was looking back at some matchups. Like, yeah, this one has everything that you want in a series. You have two franchises that are historic. The Celtics speak for themselves, the 17 championships, 22nd appearances, and Golden State, of course, has been the NBA's latest dynasty, dominant, preeminent team. As a franchise, they have 6 championships. So both teams are trying to break a tie all time. Celtics are trying to break a tie with the Lakers from 17 to go to 18. And Golden State is trying to break a tie with the Chicago Bulls to go from 6 to 7. That would put them only the Celtics and Lakers would have more championships than Golden State's franchise if Golden State wins this championship. So there is a lot on the line in this finals. This is a like, I want to say this can change a lot of things in the legs in basketball, like moving forward. It really, like I was thinking about it. It's really an important finals, really important for both these franchises. When you look at this matchup, you have time to kind of like soak it in, look at it, chew on it for the last couple of days. What are your thoughts? What immediate thoughts come to mind?
Yeah, even before I get into like the like drilling the game down, like everything like that. My first thought is this is exactly how it should be. I'm so very, very happy for this finals.
Yep.
Because this is what has been denied for so long.
Yes.
Exactly what we talked about. And Genesis. It starts with the Bulls. What I'm about to say. It starts with the Bulls breaking up and denying LA the right to knock them off.
Yep.
Regardless of what happens in this finals, this is the way it should happen.
The right team is going to win.
Exactly. And when I was talking to my boy at work, I was like, the only thing that would be surprising, shocking, I absolutely just can't even comprehend it, is if one of these teams didn't compete.
Right.
Could we have a couple clunkers? Absolutely, because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But that's about poor adjustments, being ready mentally, yada, yada, like different things like that are getting up for every single game. All the stuff that we know happens in finals and everything like this. But at the very least, in those games that matter, 3, 5-7. One as well. You know what? Honestly, the only here's how. Okay, let me read. So the thing that'll be shocking is that if it's not competitive, and I don't see that because I actually see now get a little bit to my analysis. I see game one going to the Warriors.
Right.
And so not for lack of competition, I just think game one is just made for the Warriors. Switching different styles, they've had longer to think, contemplate, rest, all those different types of things, right? So I see game one going for the Warriors, and then I see game two being a mofo and fist fight.
Yep.
Just a fist fight. The Celtics don't want to lose this game. Golden State knows they don't want to lose that game. They want the 2-up at home. That needs to happen for them. So that's gonna be a fist fight. And then game three, I could see game three or game four, depending upon who. One of those games is gonna be the fist fight. One could be the potential clunker. That 3 or 4. One of those two. 5 is always a street fight if the teams care. And then 6 is the other one that could potentially be a clunker. But those are only 2. Because if it does go 7, they're going to try to kill each other to get that championship. Like that's not a thing. We're not worried about a Phoenix Suns situation coming on. So I say that to say I don't even see it going 7 because I'm picking Boston 6. My analysis is quite simply this. I think it's a horrible matchup for Golden State. I think Golden State's older and they're slower. I'm just going to keep it all the way real right now and be very disrespectful in my comments, but whatever. Right. I think Golden State's older and they're slower and they're not used to the physicality that the East plays with, and particularly Boston plays with over a 7-game series, having people in all of their shooters' faces all the time, is going to be a lot for them. And so I think that, and I think Golden State's defense is good, but it's not East good. I think it's good enough for the West, or fantastic for the West. I think it's fine for the East. So I think that being said, and then quite honestly, I know what I'm watching. The Celtics are next and they won. That's what I'm watching, quite simply. They're learning how to be champions. So I think this is a natural evolution of this process. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And this is actually the perfect thing. Now, if the Warriors win, they win. Like, it's just that simple. Because the Celtics may not play their game. Meaning, they've had the offensive firepower to be better than the other teams that they've faced so far. Meaning, Milwaukee without Middleton, advantage Celtics.
Right.
We're not even going to talk about Brooklyn because Brooklyn was a fucking shit show. So whatever. But Celtics would just, Miami with just Butler.
Limited options,
They just have more options offensively. Right. So particularly in the Milwaukee game, me and you talked about a little bit offline, the simple calculus was 3 versus 2.
Right.
Right. And that was essentially the calculus again with Miami, meaning they don't have enough people that can put that ball in the hole from 3. We do. So if we shoot just a little bit better than them, we should win that game. Period. End of story. That's not the case in this series.
No.
That's not the case. They need to get out in transition. They need to slow the game down at half court. They need to pound these boys. They need to do all those things. So that's the adjustment. If they try to play the 3-game with Golden State, they will lose the series. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And there's no other answer to that. Because we're talking about over the course of the series. Over the course of the series, Golden State will shoot better from 3 than Boston. That's the way it should. If it doesn't happen, then Golden State will lose. It is that simple because no, that's not a thing. So I wholly expect the Celtics to win in 6, but it is not surprising at all if Golden State wins in 6 or 7 games. What it would have meant was that Golden State forced them to win, to play their game, meaning they spaced the ball out, they switched all over the place, they found the open shooters, and the shooters were making their shots. And Boston switches were late, inconsistent, whatever have be. They're giving their shooter space. It boils down to this simply for me. Boston loses every time a Golden State shooter has airspace.
Right.
They lose. Even if they win that individual matchup, in that moment, they lose.
So
that's the big fact. That's why I see it. So I'm done.
I'm picking Golden State in 7. And I don't say it as confidently as you think Boston's going to win.
I'm saying it with confidence, but they're going.
You sound confident. No, you sound pretty confident.
Yeah, but I'm not hot take confident. I'm not doing that.
No. I know that. I'm
not doing that bullshit.
No.
I'm not doing that.
I really
facing each other. Like this is not a question of who's going to back down, who punt, everything like that. It's just going to be about who is better, and that's the way it should be.
I think that I look at this matchup. It's like a boxing match.
Yeah, who forced the other person to play the style? Yeah,
styles make fights. So Boston is the skilled bruiser who wants to go toe to toe. Like they want to be in your kitchen, in your airspace. They want to be in Golden State's jerseys.
And they have to be.
They have to be. Have to be.
It's that simple. You have to be.
Golden State is the finesse team from a standpoint of not soft, but they want freedom of movement. They want to dip and move, but they can't knock you out with a one punch. Like they can go on a 15-0 run before you blink your eyes. Like that. And both these teams, of course, have knockout power. Like both these teams have, Clark Kellogg from the college basketball calls it spurtability, right? Like both these teams, like you can go 3 or 4 minutes without scoring against Boston. It's like, yo, what? Like, we only got 8 points. It's like 5 minutes in the quarter, 5 minutes, like 6 minutes left in the quarter. We only got like 10 points. So, and we've seen that. The thing about Golden State from matchup, I do think Boston. There's a number of intangibles that I want people to watch out for. Number one, watch how the games are officiated. I think if the games are called tight, that favors Golden State. If they let them play and it becomes a street fight, like they did in a couple of those games, unlike like they did a couple of those games with Miami, which favored Miami, that favors, of course, Boston because Boston is to your point, is the more physical team. So I think officiating could play a role in some of these games. It's not going to be the ultimate deterrent, but could play a role. I also think that even though Boston does have the wing defenders, and in the Steve Kerr era, Boston is the only team to have a winning record against Golden State. They're 9-7. So they've always played well against Golden State. But I do think when I look at teams that have attacked Boston in these playoffs, there has been a sense of individuals versus their great team defense. Like Kevin Durant and Kyrie going one-on-one against that team defense favors Boston, of course. Giannis and Drew Holiday having to basically go one-on-one against that great defense. Of course, it ended up favoring Boston as they 1-7. Jimmy Butler basically on the island going one-on-one with limited help. Golden State, there's no one-on-one. This is you're going to play 48 minutes of basketball. We're going to have you running around the court, pace and space. We're going to have you spread you out. Yeah, you can double Steph and try to come at him.
Nah, cool. They're not trying to double Steph.
No. He's getting doubled. Yeah, no, they're not going to play with it. They're going to try to take the ball out of his hands. They're going they're not saying Marcus Smart. That's not. I'm telling you right now. Steph will see some double teams. I don't care.
Yes, real. You know what I mean. That,
no,
like,
I mean,
a great
no,
player.
they're gonna hit
Yeah,
Steph with some double teams. They're gonna try to get the ball.
Yes.
They're gonna do that. Now they're gonna trust Smart. Of course, they're gonna trust Smart. They're gonna trust that Smart more so than other defenders around the league can like. You're not gonna see any gimmicky defense out of Boston like you saw with Toronto in the finals a couple years ago against Steph,
right?
or like you saw at Dallas this season.
Right.
No, you're not gonna see that.
My main point.
But I'm saying no.
They know that this isn't a guard stop Steph and nobody else in this team can
right. No,
they know that. They know
that. They
that's
will
what I
have
mean.
to.
They're not going to do it at the detriment of their entire team.
No, they're going to have to. Their defense is going to be challenged like it hasn't been challenged in these playoffs. Period.
Yeah, but also Golden State's offense is going to be challenged.
Let's make this clear. Both of these teams are playing. This is the asset. These are the two best teams in basketball. So this is it. This is why this is a great matchup because neither one of these teams has faced anything like neither one of these teams has faced a team like they're facing right now. Like, I think we know that Boston's road has been tougher. Without question, because we know the East was stronger than the West, but they haven't. But again, those teams were offensively compromised, like you mentioned. With in particular, forget about Brooklyn, in particular Miami, Milwaukee, and Miami. There's no offensive compromise with Golden State. Period. Like there's no this is what they do. I think that they run offense like nobody else in the NBA. Nobody else in the NBA runs offense like Golden State. Most of the teams in the NBA run basically the same offense. No one runs offense like Golden State. I got to push back to because I was doing some research in terms of like the kind of like the old heads versus the young gunfighters. I don't get the sense, even though Boston is in that role of the team that's coming. They are perfectly in that role. I don't get the sense that Golden State are the old heads that are done, similar to the Lakers were when they faced the Pistons that last.
I didn't say done. I said slowing down.
You can say slowing down. Slowing down a bit. You can say slowing down. Yeah, this is not a dime. We know this team is not as good as any of their previous championship.
No,
teams.
I mean like that first.
But the bottom line is the league.
They're regular good now, which is fine. Which is
it's fine. No, that's fine.
Yeah, they're regular great.
Yes, they're regular great. Yes, they're regular great. But I think that this team, is not. I don't look at them like some of those teams we look in the past who got to the championship.
You're not supposed to be the Cook team like that. Right. There's no glory.
No, but we've seen some Cook teams get to the finals and get wiped out. Like the '91. Lakers, when they got wiped out by the Bulls, that 91, that team overachieved, shouldn't have got there. They were cooked. The 89 Lakers.
True, but it was Jordan's time at that time.
It was. But I'm saying, and to your point, that's how
the West just literally didn't even have anybody that could compete against Jordan at that point in time.
Right, but I'm saying though, I've seen Cook teams get to the finals, like I said.
But this ain't this matchup. That's not.
No, this is not this matchup at all. No, and the bottom line is
this would have been the Bulls versus the Lakers. Like that's what should have happened.
Yes, you're
on the tail end of your run, absolutely, and the next team is beginning theirs. That's the whole effing point. Can they beat you?
Yeah.
To take over that throne. That's the whole point. You shouldn't be cooked at that time.
A couple of things to also watch out for. Obviously, we are like some of these teams have played close to 100 games. The wear and tear. Now, I think two of the key players have had some injury issues that will be, and these are non-stars. I think Robert Williams and Gary Payton Jr. are going to be vital in this series. Robert Williams, obviously, when he's on the floor and he's doing what he's doing, they are like the best defensive team, like since probably, I don't know. We can go 04 Pistons. We can go. I mean, that Toronto team in 2019 was a great defensive team as well. But they are a great defensive team when he's on the floor. We know he's been compromised at times with the knee. I don't think he can afford to miss any games in this series. He's missed at least one game in the last two series with Milwaukee and Miami. They've been able to survive those series. I don't think he can afford to miss any time in this particular series. He's that important to what they do. Then, like how he didn't play well in Game 7, but that was more. I don't know if that was the knee or that was just a more the game might have been too big for him from that standpoint. A Game 7 young player, we've seen that happen before, where the game is just too big for you, and they went with their four guard small lineup: Derek White, Al Horford at the one big, and of course Tatum Brown and Marcus Smart, which in essence there has been their go-to lineup when things have gotten tight. That's been their real good. They'll go. It'll either be Williams or White, one of those two, depending on who's rolling. White has played well the last couple games, so it was him, Tatum, Brown, Smart, Horford, and Horford. And Gary Payton the second. Now, of course, last time we saw Gary Payton the second was when he, took that the flagrant foul from Dylan Brooks and hurt his elbow. He's back. He's going to play this game. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but he is. If you haven't watched him, he has developed into an elite on the ball defensive guy, and I think they're going to need some significant minutes out of him against Boston's perimeter players. Like you'll see Wiggins be the primary defender on Jason Tatum, but let's say Wiggins gets in foul trouble, or minutes he like Peyton can match up against Tatum or Jaylen Brown. They'll put him on minutes. They can put, or even Marcus Smart at times. He's that versatile of a defender. I think he has opportunity to be vital in this series, in this particular series. So, listen, we know that ultimately the stars are going to be the stars as far as their impact on the game. But again, these teams are here because they are complete teams, and that their role players had great contributions. Their role players matter, and they from that standpoint are deep teams, even though their rotations have been cut short, and that's how it happens.
Also, what you're saying, Ril, is like the stars playing like stars is assumed, because if they're not, then what are we even talking about?
Right.
Then their team loses.
Yeah.
If the stars are going to show up, then yeah, you have to go to the role players, because the stars better show up. It's just that simple. They better. Otherwise, no. So
I was looking
gotta assume the stars are going to play their game, because if not, then I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what we're talking about.
I was looking at some. So 11 of the 14 top scorers in this series were drafted by their respective teams.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable from a standpoint of how similar these teams are in terms of how they were built and what transpired in the drafts and the crazy things that happened. So, for example, 2009, right? Steph Curry gets drafted 7th. All right, top 7 pick. We know what he did at Davidson. Almost led his team to a Final Four against a great Kansas team in the year before, 2008. They were one of the best teams in the country. They were playing like one of the best teams in the country in the tournament. Destroyed Georgetown and had that great game against Kansas in the regional final. Finishes off great in 2009. Tremendous college player. He gets drafted 7th, and to Minnesota. Oh, I'm sorry, Timberwolves fans. Look, you got a great executive, so you had a nice run of playoffs. So whatever, chill out. They take Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio before Steph Curry, and 2 point guards before Steph Curry. Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio. And I follow college basketball. Neither one, like Rubio, of course, didn't play college basketball. Flynn did. And it's like you talk about one of the great what ifs. And thankfully for basketball history, they made that blunder, because Minnesota would have probably ruined Steph Curry, and we would have never saw, who knows what the last 12 years would look like from that standpoint of there would have been no Golden State. I'm glad it happened the way it happened, because I'm not a Minnesota fan. So you have that, right?
Steph Curry wanted to go to the Knicks. Like he wanted to.
Yes, they just missed him by one pick. Of course, he went to seventh. He went seventh. They went and Knicks had the eighth pick. And they took Jordan Hill. So, and the Knicks would have fucked him up too. So it doesn't matter where he wanted to go. The Knicks would have fucked him up too. So he went to the right place. He went to the right place from that standpoint. Jason Tatum, right? The Boston's best player and their star. He was the third pick, and if you remember, the Sixers swap picks, traded up to get Markelle Fultz, right? They trade up to get Markelle Fultz. The Lakers take Lonzo Ball, and Tatum goes to Boston at number 3, right? So you had that going on. You kind of have Clay and Jaylen Brown being the kind of like the quiet lottery picks. Like, well, Jaylen Brown was a lottery pick. Clay was a first round pick, but not. I think Clay was a top. I think he was like the 12th. I was somewhere around 12 and 18, but quiet first round picks. Like no one was talking about those two as being guys who were going to be all stars, let alone have the type of career that Klay Thompson has had and what Jaylen Brown is doing. Right. Look at the third best player, Draymond Green, Marcus Smart. Draymond Green gets drafted in the second round. Okay. I remember in Michigan State, was an All-American Michigan State, the player of the year one of the years. But no one was talking about Draymond Green coming out in that draft, 2012 draft. Like nobody, he was on nobody's radar to be a maybe at best a rotational player. But I didn't even hear that type of talk. David Lee gets hurt. You remember, David Lee had an excellent career for Golden State. He had a couple of years where he averaged 20 points per game. He gets hurt. Draymond comes on along in that championship season as he's developing. And that's a key word with these two franchises, player development. And next thing you know, Draymond is in the starting lineup and they never look back. Like Steve Kerr never took him out the starting lineup. And that was basically the end of the David Lee era with Golden State. And going to Marcus Smart, again, Marcus Smart was a lottery pick. But we talked about this last podcast. They go through Kemba Walker, they go through Isaiah Thomas, they go through Kyrie Irving, and lo and behold, it was Marcus Smart who was the best fit, developed, got better, took better shots, and turns out to be, he's going to be probably, if they win the championship, will be the third best player on a team to win a championship or a championship contender. So a lot of similarities with these teams in terms of how they were built and, Golden State, ultimate great player development. They got a number of G League guys that developed, Jordan Poole, Gary Payton. They making
a coach that previously it just was, for whatever reason, just wasn't working out, and insert new head coach.
Yes. Oh, great one. Oh, wow. Yes. Brad Stevens, winning record, into a conference finals.
Banging their heads against the wall.
Yeah. Mark Jackson really set the culture for the defense, and Steph Curry, the players loved him. He gets fired after losing a classic Game 7 against Chris Paul and the Clippers in 2014. That really is one of the most underrated series in the last decade. That was that Clippers, the whole Donald Sterling, all that kind of overshadowed it, rightfully so. But that was a tremendous series between those two. In 2014. That was a great series, 7-game series. So yeah, he gets fired, and Steve Kerr walks into this franchise and never looks back. They go to another level offensively. Steph, becomes an MVP. That following year, following Mark Jackson, and here we are now. Yeah, and the bottom line is, the bottom line with these two teams too, right? We saw this. I'm gonna use a football comparison. We saw this in Seattle way back when in 2012 when they drafted Matt Flynn, signed Matt Flynn, drafted Russell Wilson, and they were like, he's better. Buy Flynn, Russell Wilson gets a spot. These teams will not hesitate to make moves to better their franchise. Like, bye-bye Dennis Schroeder, bye-bye Josh Richardson. bye-bye D'Angelo Russell. We're going to trade you for Andrew Wiggins and get the Kuminga pick. And here's what our team is going to look like. So I think that, yeah, there are a number of trends. There are a number of similar characteristics to these teams, and which makes perfect sense of why they are right here, right now. And to your point earlier, these are like, this feels right. Like, these are the two teams that should be here. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, from just a stylistic standpoint. From a, is Boston ready to take that next step? Golden State, again, this is, and I'll tie this into the Steph Curry stuff. This is a vital series for Golden State and for their franchise. And again, I know the hot take shit is legacy talk, but just it for Golden State to come back from where they've come from to win a championship would be just it's rarefied air. Like, you don't see franchises go 2 years, get to the mountaintop, for whatever reason, go 2 years where they're basically in the tank, 1 year in the tank, the other year not making the, losing the play-in and not making the playoffs, and then bounce back to win a championship. That rarely in NBA. That you go check it.
Like a lot of things at Golden State, there's a lot of factors that are coming in here. Like, let's not do that. If Clay was not injured, come on now.
Yeah, no, without question.
Come on now.
Yeah, no, without question.
There are reasons. It's like the NBA equivalent, right? It's like with Robinson, and they got Duncan. Robinson's healthy that year, they don't get Duncan.
Nope.
No way they're that horrible team. There's no way that they're this. It's a little bit of a misnomer, is all I'm saying. Like, yeah, I hear it, but come on now. Like, there were some significant factors here.
Yes. No, of course. Yeah, a lot of things went into that.
Now, I will give them credit, because I was for a while being like, okay, all right, we put a lot of eggs in this Clay basket.
Right.
Like, so I will give them absolute credit for making it back, right? Yeah, but come on now. There was some extenuating. Let's not act like Golden State completely tore the team down and then rebuilt it up from its foundation without
Step. So absolutely not. No, absolutely not. But here's what I say that they didn't do. They didn't panic.
No, they didn't.
How many franchises have we seen with a panic?
No, they're a well-run franchise. They're well-run franchise. You know the shit that just irritates me.
Like, no, you had Rob said.
But
Rob said that Charles Barkley hit Golden State.
It's the thing, and that's, if we're gonna get into it, that's the thing that makes the Golden State thing so annoying, because A, fuck y'all just got here. The second thing is like when you did get here for some very fortuitous, like, you built it the right way, great, everybody's loving you, then very fortuitous circumstance happens, and now you're light years ahead. Like, no, don't do that, because you fell into some lucky shit. Don't do that. So that's the part of it. But they're a well-run franchise, as are a couple other franchises, NBA, a few other franchises. They're a well-run franchise. Absolutely.
So let's get into the Steph Curry deep dive portion of the podcast. Went through a lot of Steph Curry stuff over the last couple of days. He, like, I don't see how there's nothing. I don't understand. I don't see how anybody could not root for Steph Curry or not. Like, he is everything you want in a superstar, culture setter. Just like, he does everything from that standpoint. Like, leadership, like, he checks all those boxes. A lot of talk about what this finals would mean to his place in history, his legacy, and what have you. All right, so here's what I'll say, right? We have tiers, okay? You have Hall of Fame players. I think I'll break it up to 3 tiers, right? regular Hall of Fame, all-time greats, immortals. Okay. I think Steph Curry is in the all-time great tier right now. I'm gonna read you off a list. I did this list in 2020, so it's relatively fresh. I did a couple tweaks out of respect for the accomplishments that happened that had happened since 2020. In terms of I had my 15 greatest players of all time. Right. Jordan 1, Russell 2, LeBron James 3, Kareem 4, Kobe Bryant 5, Tim Duncan 6, Magic Johnson 7, Larry Bird 8, Wilt Chamberlain 9, Shaq 10, Hakeem Olajuwon 11, Oscar Robertson 12, Isaiah Thomas 13, Durant 14, Steph Curry 15. Right. We could like flip flop. It's not even about who should be where. Like, I think Steph Curry is properly placed from a standpoint. If you want to put him ahead of Durant, cool. You want to put him ahead of Isaiah, I don't have a major problem with that per se. He's not top 10 right now. Okay. He's not top 10 right now. And that's not a knock to say that he's not top 10. I'm going to read you the top 10 again for the audience. Here's the top 10. Jordan, Russell, James, Jabbar, Bryant, Duncan, Magic, Bird, Wilt, Shaq. All those players, what all those players have in common, and it's been way too much talk about this NBA Finals MVP shit. He should have been the NBA Finals MVP in 2015. Period. It's like the idea LeBron got more votes than him. I'm sorry. I don't, as a Laker fan, I didn't agree with Jerry West winning in 69. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not rewarding losing. And the idea that is even more ridiculous that Iguodala got it over him. That was just stupid. The media was just dumb not to give him win Finals MVP for what he did in that particular Finals. This shouldn't even be a conversation. But putting that aside, those 10 players that I listed all have had consistent dominant play in the NBA Finals. Consistent dominant play in the NBA Finals. If you want to crack that top 10, beat Boston. Teams are relatively evenly matched. This is their first finals. They have 0 finals experience, which is very rare. 0 games of finals experience. History says the team that's not, cooked with championship finals experience is going to beat the team with no finals experience. I looked it up. I was just wondering, just out of curiosity, what was the last team to have basically 0 to no finals experience beat a team with finals experience? And guess, I want you to guess who it was. Guess.
Golden State. No, when they first got there, who had finals experience?
Yeah, so Golden State, Golden State beating Cleveland and right. So LeBron had, yes, it was Golden State, but it was even one that's even better than that.
What's the other one?
Detroit and the Lakers in 04.
Oh, 04, yeah, that makes sense.
So as a team, the Golden State Cleveland one the first time was a good one, but it was basically Cleveland had LeBron, and I know Cleveland had LeBron, and I looked at the Lakers Detroit one even more so because the Lakers had won 3 championships, and Detroit, that was their first time. That group of people, they had veteran players, but that was their first time in the finals like that.
And so here's my clap on that one. Not even clap back. This is my co-signing on that one. That I'm so glad you brought that up. There is, and this is my salient point. You're right. I do feel confident Boston's going to win this series. I do. As a matter of fact, I would say I know they're going to win this series. And this is that. And you bring up that because you brought this up. Now you bring up a great point. It is the hunger of never having versus I'm full and I just want it again because it tastes so good. Those are two different levels.
Right.
And when the talent level is equal, I think the one that history shows the one that is hungry for that success gets it. Let's just go there. Let's just take it there. I remember that. That's my favorite final. So you open the bear on this one. Detroit wanted to beat y'all ass so badly. They wanted to shut y'all, and it's the exact same thing for Boston. Boston not only wants to shut the Golden State Warriors up, they want to shut their entire fan base. And then on top of that, historically, how dare y'all put yourselves even anywhere near the Lakers or the Celtics? How dare you?
Yep.
Yeah, y'all the new hot thing in basketball. Yeah, third champ, blah, blah. But that 3 is a long effing distance away.
Yep.
Like, it's not your close 3.
No.
It's 3.
It's a distant 3.
And like, y'all at the kidding. If the big boy table, the Lakers and Celtics, y'all at the kidding table.
Yeah.
Kidding championship table.
Yeah.
So all of that in one. And then you got two that are just ready for it. They're just ready for it. They're ready for it. So I think I could not agree. This is apropos. This is apropos.
Let me get back. Let me get back to Curry, right?
I know this is about Curry, but Curry.
No, you make it no. So I knew. Listen, I know you. I've known you for 20 plus years. I knew how.
I know. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, we going there. We won't be here. We here.
I know you are ultra confident about Boston.
I remember that one. I remember all of that. Yeah. And I have very similar feelings.
This is an important, very important. This is like I said. This is the biggest playoff series, the biggest final series of Steph Curry's career.
Here's the thing.
No, hold on.
Keep going. No, keep going. Just keep thinking.
Here's the thing, right? We talk about, and again, I don't even want to get into the fucking Kevin Durant's Draymond, that bullshit. Like, but here's what I say about Kevin Durant. Here's what I say about with Durant in terms of the Warriors, right? The narrative and the media focuses on the fact that Durant needed the Warriors to win those championships. But the bottom line is the Warriors have Kevin Durant on the Warriors has more championships than the Warriors without Kevin Durant. So they have when he joined them, they won 2. Without him, they have 1. So for all this talk about, light years ahead, we've been, by the way, they have been in the last 8 years, they have been the best team in basketball. They have been the preeminent franchise without question. That even goes without question. But I think it's very important for them to win this, and for Steph Curry to even further to completely wash away that Kevin Durant era era of basketball for 3 years when it wasn't even fair per se, wasn't even fair. And again, if you're Steph Curry, if you want to become if you want, again, this Steph Curry doesn't really I don't think Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is fine with where he's at basketball wise. As far as I don't see Steph Curry like reading every headline, and you don't see Steph Curry unlike Durant tweet and all that shit. Steph Curry is a very confident, secure. Comes off to me as very confident and secure in his place and who he is, family man, the whole nine. From that standpoint, that's what I read. Of course, we don't know him personally, but
that's why I mean, like,
but I say this.
I mean, like,
if
that's
you want to become an immortal
outside this Golden State fan stuff. Everybody, you just gotta respect Steph. Steph is Steph.
If you want to be,
I have no complaints on this game, to be honest with you.
No, absolutely not. So, if you want to become, if you're talking about going to that immortal table, those 10 names that I read off, then you need another championship.
But see, that's the thing about Steph and Tim. Like, it's just like that's what makes them even so much more terrifying. They don't care about stuff like that. They just want to win. They just want to win.
Right. Yep.
They just want to win. They don't.
Yep. All he cares about is winning. All they want to do is win.
All he wants to do is win.
All they want to do is win. They are about the team. They yes, Kevin Durant, you can join us, even though I know that you're gonna take some shots away from me, that you might win finals MVP, which you did twice. But the bottom line is we won back-to-back championships and went to the finals 3 straight years. Could have easily won 3-peat. So they don't know. Does Tim Duncan taking less money towards the latter part of his career when he could have been you know what? I'm Tim Duncan. I want a Supermax every year.
They don't even think like that though. They don't think like that.
No.
They just want to win. That's the greats. Those immortals that you're talking about, like the more like next level immortals, the immortal of immortals. Winning is everything. It's just that simple. None of this other shit matters. Like that's the way it used to be, right? Like the Jordan conversation didn't become Jordan conversation till Jordan, to after he was dead, and then everybody wanted to bring it up in the middle of people's careers, at the beginning of their careers. Jordan became Jordan because he accomplished all that.
He won. Yes, he won. Period.
Yeah, but all Jordan cared about was winning.
Is winning. That's it.
Ain't nobody talking about, are you chasing Russell? Nobody's saying those dumb statements.
No.
The way Jordan became the man is because the people who were the men said he was the man.
Yep.
That's how you did it. You just beat him down through winning and respect.
Yep.
So, yeah. No. That actually tables all my arguments on Steph. I can talk all my shit I want to about him based off of the annoying Golden State, but Steph, the player, the actual player, the person on that court is terrifying because he doesn't care about any of these things.
No.
He has no ego.
It's ridiculous. Doesn't care about narratives, none of that shit. Doesn't care.
Not fair.
Doesn't care.
Fair.
And
there's no self-destructive tendencies to rely on.
It's like, let's say, and again, I think, to get back to the finals MVP thing, I think in order for him to win the series, he's going to have to be finals MVP. But let's say some situation, we never know what's going to happen. He doesn't win finals MVP and they do win. Me and y'all can talk about, he still doesn't have a finals MVP. Steph going to be like, but I got these 4 rings. That's it. That's all he's going to be worried about this is about 4th ring. That's all that's it. He's not going to concern himself with finals MVP.
That is what everybody should care about.
Right.
That's what we should care about.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I was just looking at some stuff, man. So 25 playoff series, 21-4. That's a winning percentage of 84%, and that's not a small sample. Like 25.
No. I mean, this is honestly where it starts to expose itself, like the talk, right? Like Steph, and honestly, I don't understand why we're not satisfied with calling him the greatest shooter of all time.
Well, I think that's pretty much
but that's what I'm saying. That's the compliment. Why are we looking for anything else?
No, I don't think that.
Shooter of all time. None in the story.
So I don't think that's even a question anymore. I actually
that's what I'm saying. It's not.
It's
and
not.
Why
but
is that not enough? So there shouldn't be anything else we're looking for. What else could we possibly want? What else could a human being possibly want? Other than being known in the sport of basketball, as you're the greatest shooter of all time.
Right.
And then you have all of those. It'll be one thing with no championship, no postseason success, and that would be one thing. But then you add all that other stuff. Come on now. What are we trying to do with Steph?
It's funny with the media with Steph. I understand that all championships are not equal from a standpoint of how, you'll say a Dirk's 2011 championship.
No, damn, just go to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, right.
Go anywhere else. Just go to Kevin Durant. And I agree with that.
For some reason,
but that's not what we're talking about with Steph.
No. Hold on. For some reason, right? That 2015 championship does not get the respect that it should have gotten, that it should get for a guy who was the best player on that team, without question, was the regular season MVP, and led his team to a finals.
Because
And it's like, well, they played against this Cleveland team without Kyrie and Kevin Love. I'm like, that
because
has
you don't get to
injuries
have
happen
it
all
both
the time.
ways. No, we
Doesn't
don't get to
matter.
have it both ways.
You can't. No.
Because on the flip side of that, the reason why that finals doesn't get picked over and looked at is because his franchise made the earth-shattering NBA breaking move of signing Kevin Durant 2 years later, and then winning back-to-back championships. That move was so seismic, so historical that it overshadowed their first championship. It does.
It do. Yeah.
It does, and it should. And that's the give and take of that move. You don't get to have it both ways. Because what that move said was, with the three that we have here, we still need something else. It's a tacit admission of that. So do you want, I was sitting there, until you mentioned it, Ril, I was sitting thinking, like, who did they even play that first finals? I always forget about that one, who they played in there. I know they won, but I always forget about it. It's because the Kevin Durant thing.
That first one was Cleveland.
No. You're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm saying because Kevin Durant signed there and that was so seismic, it wiped that first championship off the map.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why that, and to your point from that standpoint, that's why I think this one is big.
Oh, serious.
This one is like this. This is. I'm telling you, folks. This is a like. We can be looking at like, we could be looking at a situation where Boston wins. It could be the beginning of a possible new. Maybe I don't think.
You're a Lakers fan. So shut up. I'll handle this part.
Not possible.
If Boston wins, we are setting up for the dynasty of the next 10 to 15 years. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No, I'm not letting you fumbling over words. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. Young stars. To squat deep, a great new young black hair. Don't do that. Don't.
That's 10 to 15 years.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Slow down on that one.
No, I'm not about to bubble and trip over those words. No, you're not.
But the next, Lakers, the next great team.
Shut the F up about it. So don't even try that. Don't try that. Bumbling. We could be seeing. No, if they beat Golden State, you know what we're looking at. We look at a dynasty, homie. And LA got to catch up. That's it. Maybe what it might if you don't get out of my face. All right. Anyways.
Yes, to your point, yes. And with Golden State winning, of course, we are looking at a team that like will have done something that really hasn't, been done. The fall, like I said, being on top, the fall off, and then the comeback. Like really, you really gotta go back. Rest in peace to the Lakers, the Kobe Bryant Lakers. Like
that's that. Now that was good.
That like, and that's why like really not. We haven't seen too many players do this. Like so looking at historic players, right? Jordan, once he started winning, never stopped winning, right? Bird and Magic basically took turns. My turn, your turn, my turn, your turn.
The top 15. That's great. He's in it.
What about to say?
All players that ever played? Come on.
That's.
Of course, yes. Yes.
The Tim Duncan Spurs, they would go every other. They got to the point where they went every other year.
About champions of champions.
So
you don't get in this conversation without being able to do that.
Kobe, they win 3 straight with Shaq. Of course, they break up when Jerry Buss wasn't going to pay Shaq, and Kobe won Shaq out. Combination of that, Shaq goes and wins the championship. The Lakers go.
Then they fleeced them for no effing reason. They fleeced Memphis or whoever gave
them.
And
they get Paul Gasol. We've seen that before. Boston's done that forever.
Please. Let's not.
I'm not apologizing for fleecing.
That was such a disrespectful move.
Whatever. Marc Gasol ended up being a very good player later on in his career. So Marc Gasol had an excellent.
No, y'all fleeced him.
We did, but at the time, yes, we did fleece him. Greg Popovich was like, they should investigate trade.
They should have been investigating. Now that's the one. The Paul one, no.
They paid us back with Chris Paul, so they got the NBA got the revenge, and we should have had Chris Paul.
That's why I'm not trying to
That was
kept up. I can't believe they did that to the Lakers, but
that was payback. No, that was payback. So the Lakers get back on top.
The NBA so petty for no reason, too.
Yes, yeah.
Like we had all gotten over that. I don't know why they didn't get over it.
No, they did. The Lakers get back on top.
Yeah, whatever reason.
So this will be similar to that from that standpoint. This is why like
must have been like Paul in LA will be the worst. We just can't handle. We can't handle him in LA.
No.
Go ahead. Sorry.
This would be like similar to that if they get back on top in terms of Steph Curry and the Warriors. They get back on top after a couple of years of being down. Again, like I said to my earlier point, with regardless of the circumstances, it's something that just rarely doesn't happen. Like it just doesn't happen. If you look at the annals of NBA history, but yeah, he needs to win this series. They need to win this series, but he's being their best player. Like I said, I think that to your point about the top 15, when you're mentioned amongst the top 15 players, that's like
who've ever played the game and how long
ever.
Come on now.
Ever.
Like yes.
Ever.
There are levels to this, but you're talking about the 0.0000000.1% of players at that point. Yeah. That's like I said, that that 15 to 11 is all time great. I think to your point, this adds to his legacy. This adds to his legacy, but the totality of it can't be completely total until his career is over.
Right. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, and here's the thing. To me, what it does, he wins a fourth title. To me, he wins a fourth title. I think I put him in. I will put him in the top 10 if he wins a fourth title, and I will put him
because that's your personal top 10.
And I will put him as the second greatest point guard.
But here's the question: who are you taking out? That's
who
all.
I take out.
Who's he replacing?
Ooh.
Yep. Yeah, it's easy. Oh, it's so easy. He's in my top 5. He's in my top. Yeah, it's so easy. Who you taking out?
You know what? Exactly. Maybe like I'll put him. So I'll put him.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll put him number 11.
I'll put him number 11. Number 11. It's not a game changer.
I'll put him. So he'll pass Durant. So he'll pass Durant, Isaiah, and Oscar Robertson. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll put him 11. And no, he'll pass.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't get to the top 10.
So he doesn't get.
I remember your time. I was like, "There's no, not with."
No, he doesn't. No, he's not going to get in the top 10. So no. But look, that's a big jump. So
so here's real. We're talking about the 0.000%. Like we're talking about
here are the Steph Curry grand prizes for winning a fourth championship. Right. Here are Steph Curry grand prizes for winning a fourth championship.
I'm sure he's waiting in the beta to learn what he's going to win. Besides the NBA.
You go from 15 to 11. 15 to 11, and you are entrenched as the second greatest point guard of all time. The conversation conversation is Magic and you.
Get an entrenched in there. Okay.
That's the conversation. That's it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair.
I think that's fair.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fair.
No, but I can't put him in that. I looked at the top 10. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. You take it out. I heard.
Listen. People fail to realize, in terms of like Shaq. Come on, man. Shaq might have underachieved, but Shaq was a 3-time finals. Shaq. Like what? What are we doing? It's Shaq. Wilt Chamberlain, you know what I'm saying? Larry Bird, Magic, Duncan, Kobe, Kareem, LeBron, Bill. Like, nah. That's not even to say he's not top 10 is not even an insult. It's more about how immortal are those guys. It's not even. It's not an insult. That's why you know what the insult is, saying that Kevin Durant's top 10. That's what pisses me off. Like saying Kevin Durant. That's why I be like, yo, there's no way Kevin Durant's a top 10 player. There's no way. No way Kevin Durant's a top 10 player. He doesn't compare to those guys. Like, so that cracking that top 10, but like when we start talking about these young players who are racking up accolades, and then you want to jump them into that top 10, be careful about that, please, please. Even if they have 1 or 2 championships, be very careful. That top 10 is a monster. It's a monster. That's why I say it's the. That's why I say with the tier section, it is the immortal tier section. It's immortals. All those guys are immortal players. Period. Period. I can't even separate the top. Like I don't even have. I actually put those guys in the same room. I don't even have a top 5 players all time. I can't even like because all those guys. I can make a case for all those. I can make a case for a lot of those guys being in the top 5. To be honest with you, I can make a case for Wilt Chamberlain being in the top 5. Magic, of course. A lot of people think Magic is a top 5. Duncan, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even Wilt Chamberlain, even maybe Shaq to a lesser extent. But yeah, that top 10, like no. Steph wins the championship, second greatest point guard without question. And would have he's gonna, you know, I don't get into the Kevin Durant comparison. Like that's hot take. Whatever. I don't like whatever. But like I compare the point guard. So to me, my first star is he without question will be the second greatest point guard. I'm not passing it. He doesn't pass Magic. Like no, I'm not doing that. But without question, he will be the second greatest point guard of all time. And let's see how, like to your point, let's see how his career plays out. He's 34. You know, he is slowed a step, maybe a slight half step, but he's still like one of the most lethal weapons in basketball right now. He's still one of the most dangerous players on a basketball court, period. So that is the Steph Curry deep dive. To put a bow on that, his place in history is what it is. It's just a matter of will he crack that immortal section. His place in history is set. Like he's an all-time great. He changed the game of basketball. His like you can't. There's no the history of basketball cannot be written without Steph Curry. Period. Like so he's carved out his place in the history of basketball. You want to get into this era will still go down as the LeBron era. Period. Still go down as LeBron era. So he's not topping LeBron from that standpoint. Even if he retires with more titles, I'm not putting him over LeBron because it will take more than that. But he has his own. He is a player that he's a player unlike we've never seen before. Period. I think that's the highest compliment that we can give him. We've never seen a player like Steph Curry. Don't you think that's fair?
Oh, fact. Like I'm fine. Yeah.
So we're gonna shift gears a bit. We've had a lot of fun with this over the past couple of weeks. As we, NFL is like 100 days away. I think officially NFL is 100 days away. They've already started the countdown for that. We are going to look at the schedule of a contender. We feel like a Super Bowl contender of all the Super Bowl contenders. And we both agree that Green Bay is a Super Bowl contender. Let's look at the overview of the Green Bay schedule. It is based on strength of schedule. It is ranked 22nd with their opponents' records from the previous years and also projected opponents' records. 4 of their first 6 games are at home. Their toughest non-divisional road games will be at Buffalo, at Miami. 3 of their final 4 games will be at home. Sweet schedule for the Green Bay Packers. I was looking at this schedule. I was like, man.
I said 22nd is being kind. They were being kind on that.
It would be close to the 30. Like it might be. This might be one of the weakest.
Yeah, this is old school Patriots schedule.
Yes,
that's what this is. Like, wait, what? Oh God, how are y'all consistently the best team in football and yet your schedule has nobody on it? Again, AFC East, partly our fault. Totally admit that, but come on now.
But here's the consistent. This is the two consistencies between those two teams from my
Horrible
standpoint.
division.
Horrible division. Horrible division.
That's the
Horrible division. Listen, Rob. Horrible division with no quarterbacks.
horrible division, no quarterbacks. But the biggest thing, I mean, on top of that, the reason why it's horrible, the reason why everybody's cleared out, no quarterbacks coming there, is because you mentally whipped all of them.
Yes.
That's what happened. That's what Brady did to us. That's what Rodgers has done to that division.
Yeah.
He's just beating them all mentally.
So, yes, no, without question.
And ain't no free agent coming to that.
No.
You got to draft one, homie.
So week one,
they're going elsewhere. They're going to greener pastures.
Yeah, as they should.
They should.
Week 1, September 11th at Minnesota. It's a Fox game. Yeah. That was pretty easy. Had that as a win for Green Bay. Week number 2 home to Chicago. Who knows with Chicago's quarterback situation?
Doesn't matter.
That's a win.
Doesn't
That's another one. That's a win. It doesn't matter.
You. Let's not even do that. Yeah, it's Green Bay, Chicago. Let's not do
it. Green Bay has
Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. That's not. They've been losing them for 20 years. Let's not do
that. Let's stop right there for a second. I remember growing up, like I was like crazy into like numbers and records and stats, of course, as we all are.
Yeah.
I remember just growing up and looking at the head-to-head with Green Bay and Chicago and thinking to myself, there's no way that Green Bay will ever catch them in the head-to-head.
Yeah.
And how wrong was I? Because like 20 years later, not only they caught them.
Back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks later. Yeah.
They caught and passed them.
It did.
I didn't think it was possible.
It did.
Yeah. I didn't think it was possible.
Honestly, Real, here's the law of averages. How the Chicago, have y'all not been able to find one quarterback? It's like, what? Anybody that could just be decent. Y'all going to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. Come on now.
Oh man. That I had to stop there because that was wild to me as growing up. Like I was like, there's no way Chicago, there's no way that Chicago will ever have more win, will ever win the head-to-head, will ever be passed in the head-to-head by Green Bay. No, there's no way.
League advance is Chicago just wants to stay linebacker you forever. And so Chicago, I need y'all to change your frame of mind. I need you to.
So
the running game ain't hitting it these days.
No.
That ain't it.
So 2-0 division wins, which is very sweet to start off the year.
Yeah.
At Tampa Bay, I had that as a loss.
Yep, agreed.
So 2-1 after 3 weeks. Week number 4, I had week number 4
is Kansas City, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not yet. Okay. Week number 4, they don't play Kansas City this year. No, they don't play Kansas City.
I'm looking at somebody else.
No, preseason. They play preseason.
That's right. That's exactly what happened. When I was scrolling up, I was like, Kansas City. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Yep, you're right.
Week number 4, they're hosting New England. They're hosting New England. In week number 4, I had that as a win.
Yeah, that's a win.
3-0. So I had them at 3-1 after 4 weeks. Week number 5, they will travel to London and play the New York Giants, and they're gonna beat the shit out of the Giants because they'll be pissed off the fact that you're gonna make us travel to London. So that's gonna be a thorough ass whooping. I'm telling you that right now. Take the points. No injuries withstanding, take the points on that one. Because they're gonna like, what? This is Jacksonville's annual trip, not us. You gonna make us go to London? Really? So
London got tired. London's like, yo, stop sending us Jacksonville. Stop. We will not. We don't want the NFL. All we're gonna get is Jacksonville. Stop.
So that is week 5. They will be 4-1. So then they come back to the States and
we're not doing Jacksonville versus the Jets for year number 3.
No.
We're not doing this again.
They come back to the States and face.
Turning people off.
They get a nice gift. No, this is the NFL. This is like a makeup call in the NBA. They get a nice gift because week number 6, they host the New York Jets. So the NFL was like, you know what? We're making you travel across the pond. Here's a gift. Here's a gift. Play the Jets in week number 6.
Their schedule you get. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Those will be. They will be after 6 weeks. They will be at 5-1. Right. Week number 7. Oh, they travel to the DMV to play the Commanders.
Yeah, you call
They will be 6-1 after that. Not very, not very tough. That one I didn't have to struggle with mentally from that standpoint. That was pretty easy to figure out why they're going to be 6-1. So we have them at 6-1 after 7 weeks. Week number 8. This should be one of the games of the year. Week number 8, they are going. They go to Buffalo. I had that as a loss, and I'm being consistent with my picks with Buffalo. So that I think on the other podcast I had that as a loss. So I think they will lose that, but it should be a great game. So that puts them at 6-2, and that is a Sunday night game, by the way, as it should be. The Buffalo game.
That's the one I want. I want that one.
Of course, I know you want that one.
I want that one.
Week number 9 at Detroit. That would be a nice comeback, bounce back win. That's some good, NFL saying, hey, we made you travel on Sunday night. Here's a nice another gift at Detroit. So that'll be a win. They will go to 7-2 after 9 weeks. Week 10, they host the Dallas Cowboys. Should be a very entertaining game, but they always beat the Cowboys. Like it doesn't matter. Even Matt Flynn, who got a podcast, 2 Matt Flynn mentions in one podcast. How about that? Even Matt Flynn could beat the Cowboys as a Green Bay Packer. Check the game on that one. That was a wild game back in the day. They will go to 8-2 after 10 weeks after they beat the Cowboys. Did you have that?
Because it's Cowboys Tennessee, right?
Yes.
I couldn't decide. They lose one of those. I couldn't decide.
So I had them beating the Cowboys. I had them beating the Cowboys going 8-2.
I couldn't decide. I think I gave them the Tennessee. Nah.
Oh,
I gave them
the
win.
Week number 11.
Cowboys.
So
for that reason, they always beat the Cowboys, and then I gave them the L with Tennessee.
Okay, so we disagree on that one. Week number 11, I had them beating Tennessee.
Okay.
Had them beating Tennessee. So they're at 9-2. Week number 12 at Philadelphia. Now this is my upset special. This is my random upset, which I've been consistent with when doing these podcasts with these schedules with these particular teams. This is the one I think that they can just get caught up with. I'm not saying that I'm high on Philadelphia. I do like what Philadelphia did in the draft, but I just think this has like a trap game kind of written all over it from standpoint of, back to back. Dallas, Tennessee would be, I think, physical. At traveling on the road at Philadelphia Sunday night, I think Philadelphia will pick them off. So they go. I had them after 12 weeks, 10-2, or 10-3. Excuse me. Yeah, 10-3. Yep. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Philadelphia, 10-3. So let's go to week 13. Week 13. That is at Chicago. That they will go to 11-3. That's another win. By week 14, week 15.
Just keep going.
After 14 weeks, 11-3. Week 15, they are hosting the Rams.
Yeah.
I like them against the Rams. They play the Rams well for whatever reason. They play the Rams well. I picked them to beat the Rams. I got them beating the Rams, so that puts them at, I believe, 12-3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 12-3. Yep. Week 16.
Yeah.
At Miami.
Yeah.
This one I actually struggled with because I think Miami's going to be frisky this year and a tough team. But again, I just the quarterback thing. I'm like, and I'm not I'm not down on Tua. I'm like,
you can't.
I'm like December Aaron Rodgers. They normally December Aaron Rodgers his record is great in December. So I had him beating Miami to go to
the regular season ain't the problem. That's not the problem.
Right. No. I had them beating Miami. So 16 weeks, 15 games. That actually is 12-3.
Yeah.
Week 17 hosting Minnesota. I had that as a win. 13-3. And week 18 now. This is gonna be tricky because they might not need the game. Maybe they might not need the game, but I went on the assumption because I think Tampa Bay is gonna have a big year that I went on the assumption that they probably will need the game for home field advantage, that they will play and that they will play it out. And again, it's Detroit, so I had them win that game at home. So I had Green Bay number 1 seed again, 14-3, and similar conversations going to the playoffs as we had the last 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
We are simpatico on this one. The only difference was the Tennessee. That was the only difference.
So we had the same record?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that stops this team is themselves.
Yep.
That schedule is nothing. When I looked at that, I was like, oh, Green Bay's going right back to the champion. Like the only thing that stops them with themselves, if Aaron Rodgers gets mental at certain point in time, just all the drama that can pop up with Green Bay. That's the only thing that stopped them, because the opponents and that they're tough games, and we named them all. So
right.
Could they drop one more?
Sure.
But this is one of those where they should absolutely sweep their division with no problem. No problem. None at all. None. Honestly, I'm trying to make up an argument in my head for splitting with Minnesota, and I can't even make it up, to be honest with you. I would just be making some shit up. There's no way in God's green earth Chicago or Detroit beats them. So we can't even, we're not even doing that. So then outside that, do you look at their out of conference schedule, and San Francisco's not even on there.
Nah.
And San Francisco would have been down this year. So they don't even have as of right now, of course, at this day and time, they don't even have the competition on paper to make Green Bay stress out for what they want to do game plan wise.
And here's the thing too, Rob. All their tough games are stretched out, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You have, let's say you have Tampa Bay is week 3, right?
Give me that schedule, please.
Tampa Bay is week 3. Buffalo is week 8.
Yeah.
Even with Dallas and Tennessee 10 and 11.
Yeah.
And the Rams are week 15.
That's the only one that's the reason why I selected one of those, because I was like, well, this is the only 2 back-to-back stretch that they have. That's
right.
Tough.
Yep. No, exactly.
So that literally was my logic on that.
Yeah. No, I agree with that logic. I can see why you had that logic. No, that is literally that's their toughest stretch right there. That's Dallas, Tennessee, back to back. Honestly, and both of those games. And by the way, both those games are at home.
Dallas and Tennessee, absolutely, I could. It was a struggle to get 3 losses for them. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And both of those games, by the way, are at home.
Yeah. Oh, no. Like I said, I had not had to come up with 3, but I was just like, that's what I believe the record was. And I was looking at there. Could I see them winning Tennessee and losing to the Rams? Like everything, could I see that? Absolutely. Something like that happening. But here's the big point. Any noise that happens to them is going to happen out of conference.
Yes.
That's the big point.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay. But Tampa's wonky in the regular season sometimes anyway. So I can't even. Yeah. That's much more playoffs. Playoffs, I feel 100% confident in that matchup and where it's going. The regular season is way more 50-50. At that point in time. So I mean, Ril. This has a dominant record set up.
Yeah.
If they lose more than 3 games, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
This is an old school 14-2, 15-1 setup.
Yeah.
It just is. It just is, and it is up to them to bring it. And they only have to bring that's the great thing about these types of schedules. You don't have to bring a game level. that kid, like again, that Kansas City schedule, you gotta bring a game level effort to most of those games to win, to not be mediocre record 9-8, something like that. This you don't need to bring your A.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a type of schedule where you can really like experiment with some stuff you might feel like can help you in the postseason.
You don't.
Like,
You
for
do,
real,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
It's literally that type of schedule.
Yeah.
Like, let's try some shit that might work in January that hasn't worked in the past. Just kind of like get to knock the monotony off and things like that. Like, or let's try some schedule let's try to do some shit so our players won't get bored. Like, that's how bad the schedule. Like, I'm literally talking about an NFL schedule here, folks, where you figure that every game counts times 100. No, this schedule is horrible. This schedule is. This is like
it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? These are NFL teams.
Here's
I get
one
it.
thing I cannot hear from Green Bay fans or supporters is that the NFL doesn't want us to anything.
Right. No. Stop
this schedule screams. Woo, they want you to finish high. They want you.
They want you minimum in the NFC Championship. They want you minimum in the NFC Championship. Minimum.
So it's on you, homies. Yeah. This was on you.
They really want you in the Super Bowl. To be honest with you. If you get in the NFL, the true serum, they really would want Green Bay in the Super Bowl.
I'm not like they want them to go as far as possible, and they damn sure don't want the regular season to impede them. They do not want that to happen in any shape or format. And so you want to talk about legacy, Ril, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking squarely at you, sir.
Yep.
I'm looking squarely at you.
Yeah,
I'm looking squarely at you on this one.
No question about it.
Yep.
I have a who won the week and most disappointing quickly before we head out.
Okay.
So I'll do most disappointing first. So I don't have a picture up, but I just thought about it. I like this person has to be on here. I'm gonna say we're gonna go pop culture a bit for most disappointing.
All right.
Omari Hardwick, aka Ghost, Jamie St. Patrick. You know why he's most disappointing?
What happened?
He comes out a couple of days ago, maybe this was even yesterday, and says, I should have made more during my time with Power as a lead, the lead guy.
More money?
Yes, more money. More money.
Okay.
So you wonder, like, okay, what were the numbers? Right. Cool. The numbers, it turns out, according to him, that he made $150,000 an episode.
Okay.
I did the math.
Yeah.
63 episodes, 6 seasons. Before they killed him off. Spoiler alert. That came out to like $9.4 million.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great to us. Yeah, sounds great.
Good. Sounds good. Now, what were others getting paid comparatively?
I don't know, say what, like.
Yeah, I don't even need co-stars. I'm just talking about other lead actors in the series. I wonder what they were getting paid.
I do too. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about it.
Why is he the biggest loser? Yep, go ahead.
If you're the lead guy, he clearly was the lead guy.
Yeah.
Right. We know, like, it took Power, I think, like 2 seasons to really pop off. Like, I think after season 1, people were like, I don't know. By season 2, it was a phenomenon. Like everybody was like, oh, you gotta see it. You gotta see it.
Yeah, that's the ground. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When Kanan got out of jail, that's when it really popped off. That season 2, which I, by the way, still think is the best season. You have an agent, right? And you have the ability to like negotiate contract or renegotiate. I don't think you get like a set 6-year contract because first of all, they don't even know if the season.
No, you definitely don't know. That's not how it works. Yeah, no, you're right.
Of course not. So I'm assuming this is like a year by year thing.
And honestly, if 150 is what he quoted, if that's the highest, that means it was much lower early on, right? Because it got like they renegotiate after X amount of their thing. So it wasn't a steady 150. That's the most interesting thing about this. Keep going.
Yeah, like great point. Is so yeah, that even asks more questions because to your point, he might not that might so he might have been maxed out at 150. He might have started out, who knows? It might have been 50 or whoever. It might have been lower than that.
So, for example, let's take The Simpsons, right?
Right.
Like, I remember all the different, Simpsons is one of my favorite all-time shows.
Right.
So I remember all the times they were going up for different contracts. The Office, or any of these sitcom shows, right? So you got, everybody gets paid nothing initially, unless you're a big name. And he wasn't, right? So everybody gets paid nothing initially. Then when the show becomes a hit, that's usually when people renegotiate. And then the other money starts to come in when actors not only renegotiate, because the kind of like the staff kind of has to collaboratively, all the actors in the ensemble collaboratively kind of like negotiate like overarching. And then individuals get more money by becoming executive producers, directors, different things within that. And that's usually the star of the show. So I wonder if he didn't do all those other things.
Here's why he's most disappointed too. Here's the number one reason why he's most disappointed. He claims that there are two different times, right, that he had to borrow money from 50 Cent.
Okay, and that's why I thought you were going with this, was that 50 Cent was the one who kind of took his money.
No, 50 Cent, he actually borrowed money from 50 Cent. No,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go. Yeah.
So I'm like, this is like, I guess this is a situation where you are new to being the guy, and even though he started, I forgot how old he was when Power came out. Maybe he was like, I think he was, I want to say 40. Yeah, I want to say he was around 40 when Power came out.
But he wasn't a star yet.
No, he wasn't. No. This was.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
He wasn't a star.
He wasn't a star yet. So I think that what happened was clearly
Bryan Cranston became a star. What? And he was in his 50s.
Right.
Right. Right.
I guess it just did not having the understanding of the business.
He undervalued himself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, because to me, if I have you have the right people around you in terms of agent, your agent's gonna look at, like, your agent's gonna be like, look, this guy is carrying, not only he's the biggest name on this show per se, that he's the main guy on the show, we're carrying a whole network. Like Power, there are people who bought stars because of Power. So you clearly undervalue yourself from that standpoint. Like, yes, you should have been making way more than $150,000. By season 3, you should have been at like minimum $400,000 or $500,000, if not more. Like, seriously, like for the numbers that they were doing in on demand, and like with all the apps and all that shit, that Stars app, like, nah, brother. Like, it's a valuable lesson to be learned by up and comers and people. It's unfortunate, but dude, man, you gotta, it's one of those things, like you can't undervalue yourself, man. Like, you can't undervalue yourself. And bottom line, if you had to borrow from 50 Cent, there had to be some money issues as far as money management. That's money management from that standpoint. I don't how he dealt with his money becoming probably rich for the first time. It's like, we've heard those stories go wrong. But he still making some movies now. But that will be he will be forever remembered as James St. Patrick. That will be forever his signature role. And it's unfortunate that he didn't get what he probably fully deserved. I think he probably did. He clearly deserve more than $150,000 if that was what he topped out at. Like, yeah. But I heard someone say, it's not about what you deserve, it's about what you can negotiate. Like, it's not about getting what you deserve versus getting what you can negotiate. So business is business at the end of the day. quick wire note before I get into who won the week. 20th anniversary of the greatest show ever, June 2nd, 2002. The Wire came to television. So, need something to watch over the weekend in between the games. We strongly recommend that show, as strongly recommend it. But it was today, June 2nd, that The Wire premiered on HBO. And who knew? Who knew what would come about in the next, 5 years or so, from that standpoint, of what that show would become, and just the impact it just had just on television and, and what have you. But yeah, June 2nd, 2002 was the premiere. As far as who won the week, I gotta say LeBron James. LeBron James as it was announced today, became the first active NBA player to become a billionaire. Jordan became a billionaire after he retired. They said Kobe, rest in peace, is projected to become one. The way his stuff, the way his businesses have been trending, and especially now he has this new they've gotten back together with Nike. So when they start releasing the sneakers, that's going, that probably will put his estate over $1 billion. But LeBron is the first active NBA player to be a billionaire. Say what you want. Obviously, you can't say anything about what he's done on the court, but his off the court exploits have been just.
He's not off the court either.
What he's done off the court has been just as impressive, not even more impressive. Equally, if not more so, as impressive.
They're both very impressive.
I remember when he fired his agent, Aaron Goodwin. It was like, "What are you doing?" When he didn't sign with it wasn't Adidas. I think it might have been. I think Adidas offered him his first deal and this ridiculous amount of money, and he was like, "Nah, I'm get with Nike." So he's made countless just great, savvy, and cunning business moves after business move after business move. Ownership in one of the Premier League teams. He was over there like last week watching them. I think for the Real Madrid, Liverpool championship. So he's someone that operates like at a like a chess master, just planning stuff ahead, like planning stuff 3, 4, 5 years ahead, putting the right people around him. Like if Omari Hardwick had people around him like LeBron James, maybe he would have got more than $150,000 an episode. Because that's LeBron James has never undervalued himself ever. Like that's not even in his DNA. But the precedent that he set for athletes is like, yeah, I don't even like the word empowerment, but mark your own territory. Like mark your own territory, and you don't. The number one I think I look at LeBron from that standpoint is like Frank Sinatra, doing it my way, and not worrying about what has transpired before you, in terms of how things are done. Like evolution. Like okay, Jordan, whoever, Magic, they did it their way. I got my way of doing things. We can all, it's more than one way to skin a cat, and you gotta give LeBron all the credit in the world for that. Moving forward, he's really had a nice template for today's athlete as far as from a business standpoint. Now, forget about the general manager stuff. Don't try to copy what he's done in terms of that moves. That's just that we've seen too much of that is going wrong. Ask Kevin Durant. But as far as a template for business and taking care of yourself off the court, when the ball ends up stopped, when you can't play anymore, I think that he's at the forefront of that. Like guys, like these players, you can say what you want about NBA players. Again, we have our critiques as far as, hey, we actually want to see you on the court, but from a business standpoint, in terms of them handling their money, we don't hear that many stories of guys like the Antoine Walkers or guys who had all this money and now are broke and have nothing. We don't hear a lot of those stories in the NBA right now with this generation, which I don't think is talked about enough. But people focus on the negative. But he is at the forefront of that. Deserves all the credit in the world from that standpoint. Do you have any final thoughts about the finals as a whole?
Nope. Good.
Yeah. Again, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great final. I think it's going to be a NBA changing final. I think we're going to be looking back at this final and saying, "Hey, this is when so and so did this, or this team.
Oh,
This is when this is
I
like."
do have one last thought.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
You do know Magic picked the Celtics, right? Did you see that?
I did not know that.
Okay. Go look for that.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
I just Magic.
Yeah. Why are you getting mad? He's just saying what's factually true. You should not be upset.
I'm not even upset at Magic because it actually does not surprise me, because you got to remember about Magic. This was a guy who at
I don't remember anything about that.
No, go ahead. No, I got a story for this. I have a story for this. I have a story for this. I have a story for this. I mean, it's basically split down the middle. I like from a standpoint, the media picked the Warriors. Coaches and scouts picked this. Coaches and scouts have picked the Celtics, and executives picked the Warriors. So, like, it's whatever. I don't care about who picks who from that.
Yeah, but it means
I'm talking about Magic. I'm talking about Magic Johnson.
The Lakers are picking the Celtics.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that.
All of them should.
There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. But it doesn't surprise me because Magic if you remember, way back when we were young.
Why would you pick the Warriors?
Wait, no, hold on. Let me tell the Magic Johnson story. Way back when, at Larry Bird's retirement ceremony, Magic Johnson had a Celtic shirt on, which is actually worse than this. A Celtic T-shirt on, which he like Magic. No. So it does not in the least bit surprise me that Magic Johnson picked the Celtics. Of course, he picked the Celtics. You probably root for him. You probably root for him.
Who else should pick the Celtics? Riley should pick the Celtics.
Pat Riley would never eat it, please.
Who else?
That would be Pat Riley.
They just all felt this now. Well, they just whooped his ass. So yeah, he should pick.
Yeah, Pat Riley would never. I'm glad you bring Pat Riley up. I want to get back to that Miami thing before we head out. The Miami Boston series. I gotta give Miami a lot of credit. All the credit in the world for fighting tooth and nail the way they that's how you play a series out. That's how you finish a series from that standpoint. Like, clearly Boston's a better team. I don't want to hear about the injuries because I don't ever want to hear about injuries when players are playing, because we were told for 3 games that Jimmy Butler couldn't move. And then he goes 47 and 35 in the last 2 games. So where were the injuries in game 6 and 7? So if you're on the court, I'm assuming you're healthy. Period. That's it. But I do give Miami a lot of credit for just maximizing what they had, and like Spoelstra, even after every game, was like, we got enough, no excuses, we'll compete. And they did that. So I give them. I think they got the most out of this season. Got to a conference final, lost to a better team. So yeah, and now there's gonna be a very interesting offseason to see where they go. They got a lot of age on that team, and the young players are not, unlike Golden State. Their future is not promising with the young players. Like, you couldn't even play Duncan Robinson in this series, and Tyler Hero is like a one-dimensional player. And I guess the next step would be Bam to step up, like to be a star type player in the playoffs, because he didn't have the type of series that I thought he could have had, even though he did play well in game 7, but for the most part, he was inconsistent in the playoffs and throughout the series. But I had to mention that. I gotta give him a lot of credit from that standpoint of how they finished that series. I did not see that game 6. I did not for the life of me see that coming. And I thought they were dead after game 5. That game 6 was like what? Like how? I did not see that on the road. That was impressive, very impressive. So shout out, kudos for them from that standpoint. But I don't want to hear about injuries after watching what Jimmy Butler did those last 2 games. I absolutely, you're on the court, you're healthy. That's it. So As always, thanks to Robert Sapp.
All right, sir. Appreciate you. Have a great evening.
Enjoy the finals.
Yes, sir.
Game 1 tonight
Here we
at
go.
at Golden State. We both expect Golden State to win game 1. I actually think they're going to win it by double digits. But you know, these playoffs have been extremely unpredictable. So who knows? But Golden State probably will win this game. But it's going to be a hell of a series regardless. Looking forward to it. We will see you next time on the next.
Sir.
All right, on the next edition of the Ril Dil Podcast. Have a great rest of your evening. I will have this podcast up by early evening, later on this evening, early tomorrow morning. Have a great weekend. So long.